your imaginary passports and your bags because it's time to become world-trodden explorers right where you are.
Hello. My name is Asher and I'm your host along with my mom, Kristen.
Today, we're hopping aboard our magical culture train to Armenia. We're off to visit our friend, Miss Astrid, a children's book author who will take us on a tour of her beautiful village, Ushi, a place surrounded by towering mountains and breathtaking scenery. Before we get started on our episode, we want to say a very special happy birthday to Gabriella from Washington. Her big day is on September 15th, and she especially loved our Italy and pizza episode.
Happy birthday, Gabriella. I love pizza too.
We also want to say a big thank you to our friends Legend and Rumi and their whole family for leaving us a 5-star rating. Legend is 4 years old and Rumi is 2, and they are in Seattle, Washington. Thank you so much for being a part of our Culture Kids community.
Thank you, Legend and Rumi.
Grown-ups, if you haven't already, please leave us a 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, and please share Culture Kids with just one person you love this week. If you are able, please swing by our website and click on the support tab, where you'll find thoughtful ways to help us keep exploring the world with young hearts.
Thank you, everyone.
And we want to extend a huge thank you to Overton Records for allowing us to use Mikhail Voskanyan's incredible music for this episode. Mikhail Voskanyan is an internationally acclaimed Armenian composer and tar player who brings a fresh jazz-infused sound to the traditional Armenian tar. Please visit his YouTube channel to enjoy more of his beautiful performances. All of the information will be available under our show notes. Okay, Culture Kids, our magical train is chugging around the corner. But before we hop on board, let's learn about where Armenia is, and most importantly, why we're visiting this incredible country full of cool mountains, changing seasons, and lots of friendly people.
Armenia is a beautiful country that sits at the meeting point of Europe and Asia with no ocean edges, so it's landlocked.
Yes, it's up in the South Caucasus where Europe meets Asia. That means it's like a bridge between two big continents.
Summers are warm and sunny, perfect for running around and playing soccer.
And winters bring snowy fun, especially up in the hills and, of course, scenic mountains. The capital of Armenia is called Yerevan, where a lot of people live and work.
Armenia also has a giant sunny lake.
Yes, it's called Lake Sevan, and it sits way up in the mountains. It's actually one of the highest big lakes in Europe. Many families come here to swim in its cool blue water, walk along sandy beaches, and visit old churches beside the lake. It's Armenia's biggest lake and sometimes called the Jewel of Armenia.
And Armenia is not a huge country. There are about 2.9 million people that live there.
Yes, it may be a small country, but Armenia is full of incredible culture, breathtaking beauty, and a strong sense of identity, from ancient churches and folk dances to delicious foods and famous music.
But today we're visiting an old building that's hundreds of years old.
Yes, it's called Saint Sarkis Chapel, and it is an ancient monastery near the village of Ushi where Miss Astrid currently lives. Right next to it is the Church of the Holy Mother of God, which is being carefully restored.
I hear my culture train.
Okay, hold on to your adventure hats, Culture Kids, because our magical culture train is about to chug us right into a world made for big mountain adventures. Get ready for towering peaks, rugged cliffs, and sweeping valleys that look like they're straight out of a fairy tale. And best of all, you're not just a visitor here, you're a celebrated friend in a land filled with smiles and warm welcomes. Buckle up, everyone, because our next stop is...
All aboard!
Armenia! Welcome to Armenia. We're standing in the small, charming village of Ushi, nestled in the foothills of a green mountain valley. All around us are small stone houses with red-tiled roofs, with curling smoke drifting up from chimneys, perhaps where families might be baking bread. We see a beautiful winding little road that's curving gently past gardens full of fresh vegetables and flowers, as if it's leading us right into a living storybook.
It's so peaceful here. I hear birds singing and the sky is so blue, Mommy.
Yes, and the air is crisp and clean, and occasionally I'm smelling a whiff of delicious baking bread or maybe savory stew bubbling on the stove.
Is that Miss Astrid over there?
Yes, there she is. Let's walk over slowly.
Hey Kristen, hey Asher, hi culture kids. Barev, Barigalus, Tayastan, which in my native language, Armenian, means hello and welcome to Armenia. And welcome to our little village, Ushi.
Thank you for having us.
What a beautiful and quiet village we just arrived in. Can you tell us where we are exactly?
So this is the village where I currently live with my two boys. It's called Ushi, and it's really small. Only 2,000 people live here. But we're very lucky to be surrounded by all this gorgeous nature and mountains and fruit gardens while being really close to the capital, Yerevan. It's about a 45-minute drive from here.
Well, before we begin looking around, for those of us meeting you for the first time, can you tell us about yourself?
Yeah, my name is Astrid Kamalyan, and I'm a children's author. I write children's books, and my debut picture book titled Bubble, A Tale of Armenian Rug Washing Day came out 2 years ago from Charlesbridge Publishing.
Rug washing day? Cool. I've never washed a rug before.
Ooh, actually, we'll all be back here in a few weeks to learn about this because that's what Miss Astrid's book is all about.
Yeah, so what I love to do most is teaching kids and even grown-ups about my culture, and there are many ways to do that, and books is one, and talking to you guys through this podcast is another.
Well, thank you so much for making time for us, and I can't help but notice the stunning backdrop of several mountains behind you. The one I'm looking directly at is a big mountain with not just one top, but 4 pointy heads, each sticking up into the sky with snowy patches.
I want to climb it. Can you tell us about it?
Yeah, sure. That mountain over there is Mount Ararat. It has these jagged summits, and one of those summits, the northern one, is actually the highest point in the entire country, Armenia.
It looks strong and mighty. I don't think I can climb that.
I'm also seeing another mountain, but it's smaller and looks almost like a forested hill with lots of gentle curved edges.
This mountain looks more like a giant hill. A person's head or something.
What do you think it looks like?
Wait a minute. It looks like a sleeping giant to me.
You know what? It totally does. The shape of the smaller mountain almost looks like a giant person lying on their back with their hands crossed over their chest.
Yes, it does look like a sleeping giant, and our ancestors noticed the same, so they decided to name the mountain after a king. The king's name was Ara the Beautiful. The mountain is called Mount Ara.
Mount Ararat.
What is interesting about Mount Ararat is that it has huge biodiversity, which means it has a lot of different species of plants and hence birds living there. Another cool thing that I learned completely accidentally from the locals is that it has this sacred place of worship that has water running in it with healing properties.
Healing properties? Like the water can heal an owie?
Yeah, so it is believed to heal different ailments, but the one that people specifically mentioned was that it can heal any issues you have with eyes.
Eyes? One time I kicked a soccer ball and it accidentally hit my mom's eye. She should have come here.
Oh yeah, that would have been very helpful. So in many parts of the world, there are places where nature, like water, rocks, or plants, is thought to help with healing, and these places are often treasured by local communities.
And I have seen that water simply dripping from the cave, that there is this church basically carved into the mountain, and from the walls of that place there is water dripping.
What a magical mountain.
And now, Asher, turn right a little bit.
Oh, okay, turning around. Whoa, I see another mountain.
This is the one that I get to see every morning as I look out from my balcony. And that is Mount Ararat.
Mount Ararat.
Now, this one is not located within the territory of contemporary Armenia, but it has a huge cultural significance for us as a nation.
How is that?
Well, it is believed that Mount Ararat is where Noah's Ark has landed during the big flood everybody knows about.
Hey, I know that story too. It's from the Old Testament in the Bible.
Exactly.
And we Armenians are Christians. In fact, we're the first Christian nation on earth. So imagine how special and important that is for us to be able to see that mountain every day.
That must be very meaningful. Mount Ararat clearly has a very special meaning here in Armenia and to many Christians around the world. We are very lucky to share this special view and memory with our culture kids.
So the three mountains we learned about sound very similar. Mount Aragat, tallest point in Armenia. Mount Ararat, which looks like a sleeping giant with healing water.
Yes, and Mount Ararat, where it is believed by many Armenians and Christians to be the place where Noah's Ark landed.
Alrighty, who wants to see an ancient monastery that took centuries to build?
Me!
If you do, let's hike up this hill.
Let's go!
So as we're walking, I hope that you're enjoying the scenery with vineyards spread on both sides of the road and Mount Ararat on our left with peaceful villages spread in the valley.
What a beautiful walk this is. On both sides of the path, I see rows of grapevines stretching out across the hillsides. The leaves are rustling gently in the breeze, and if you look closely, you can spot little bunches of grapes hanging down, catching the sunlight like tiny little jewels. Ahead of us, we see the path winding upward, and scattered along the way are stone walls. Some crumbled with age, and others are still standing strong, as if they're quietly guarding the history of this place. Every so often, we see a patch of wildflowers peeking out from the grass, adding bright splashes of yellow and purple to the green fields.
So are we really walking towards a monastery that took hundreds of years to build?
It took centuries for this place to be created, and it took the work of several people. But the first step was that in the 5th century, Mesrop who was a saint and the inventor of the Armenian alphabet, brought here and buried the relics of another Armenian saint, Saint Sarkis, who is considered to be the protector of youth.
What is a relic?
Great question, Asher. A relic is something very special that once belonged to an important person, like a saint. It could be a piece of their clothing, something they touched, or even their remains, and people keep it safe because it reminds them of that person's life.
It is very important.
Yes, and they are treated very carefully.
Now, once he did that, this place was sacred and special, and people started building and creating more around it.
Why would they build things around the relics?
Yes, another good question. Oftentimes in history, people often build churches and monasteries around relics. They believe these holy objects made the place sacred, so it became a center for prayer and community life.
Kind of like building a home. That's nice.
Okay, I think we're approaching the monastery very soon. Just a few more steps.
All right, here is our building. We're standing right in front of the Saint Sarkis Chapel. I come here often to pray and think and light a candle. We can go inside if you want to.
This looks ancient.
It sure does. And imagine this, culture kids. This chapel is small but so striking. It's built from big blocks of dark gray and reddish stone, the kind that almost seems to glow in the sunlight. The walls are thick and solid, even though they've stood here for more than 1,000 years.
Stone walls make it feel calm and peaceful. Hey, I could see flickering candles inside.
Up above, I can see a little dome with a pointed roof, shaped almost like a stone hat, sitting proudly on top. And just next to this little chapel, you can see the larger Church of the Holy Mother of God. Its tall stones are rising up proudly. And even though parts of it are being carefully repaired today, you can still imagine how grand it must have looked centuries ago.
That's kind of cool that you can come here whenever you want.
And Miss Astrid, even in this short visit, I can feel how deeply the Armenian people honor their history, their faith, and their traditions. It's truly inspiring to see how your culture has carried so much beauty, strength, and creativity across thousands of years. Could you share with us what it's like to live in a place with so much history and beauty?
Well, of course, I enjoy the nature and the history, but I truly love learning from the people and from the nature. And the other thing that inspires me here is looking at all the carved stones. As you look at your right, they have engravings of crosses and other intricate details. And this is a form of art that is unique to Armenia.
Thank you for sharing this. I learned from Miss Astrid that this tradition is called khachkar. Standing in front of one feels magical. There are stones covered in beautiful crosses and swirling designs that make you feel like you've stepped right into Armenia's history.
And I think it teaches me that creating beauty out of stone is part of my culture. Whatever we have, we will take that and make it beautiful. So that is very inspiring for me.
Thank you, Miss Astrid. And I hear our culture train. I think it's time to head home. Aww.
Yep, and before we hop back on our magical train, do you have anything else you'd like to share with our culture kids?
This one is for the grown-ups. You're gonna come back here in a couple of weeks and help me and my kids wash hand-woven Armenian rugs, which I have written a book about titled Babo, A Tale of Armenian Rug Washing Day, gorgeously illustrated by Armenia'S. If you want to get the book, try to get it from an indie nearby, but it is sold everywhere books are sold. Bye, culture kids! Min chandi boom, and that means see you soon.
Wow, what an adventure we had today, culture kids. Armenia is such a beautiful place, full of mountains, ancient churches, beautifully carved stones, and people who have cared for their traditions for thousands of years. Close your eyes and imagine waking up to a view of these breathtaking mountains, knowing their stories have been told for thousands of years. What would it feel like to walk through a place where every stone, every path, and every song carries a piece of history? And a heartfelt thank you to Armenian communities all over the world for sharing your culture and your stories with us in this episode. And as always, you and your family are valued, welcomed, and celebrated for exactly who you are, because every child belongs here at Culture Kids.
All aboard!
Joke time!
And today we have a very special guest joining us for Joke Time. Aaron is from Armenia, and he was inspired by our last episode about Swiss chocolate and sent us this joke.
My name is Aaron. I'm 8 years old. Why chocolate is sweet? Because it's from Switzerland.
I love that. So Switzerland, Sweetserland, kind of sounds like the word sweet. Amazing. Thank you, Aaron. Okay, Asher's turn. What do you got, Asher?
Knock knock.
Who's there?
Weirdo.
Weirdo who?
Where do you think you're going?
I get it. Weirdo. Where do you? Weirdo. Excellent. Okay, Mommy's turn.
Go.
How does a mouse disguise himself? He wears a moustache. Moustache.
Oh, mustache is like a kind of disguise, but like a moustache, but it's a mouse.
Yeah. Thanks for joining us today. Stay tuned as we travel to Hong Kong to try egg tarts and so much more on our culture train. We also want to say a special thank you to Robin, our magician audio engineer, Alicia, our academic consultant, Ami, our nonprofit consultant, and Jessica Ryan for your countless hours to make Culture Kids free and accessible to listeners like you. Thank you for all that you do, and please don't forget to share about Culture Kids to everyone you love. Stay tuned for more adventures next week. Bye-bye.